Welcome back. Last week I shot a video on kind of a beginner thing about leaders and how you choose your leaders, how I do that stuff, and this week we're going to talk about Tippet Rings. And you know, I don't use a lot of Tippet Rings. I did for quite a while, nymphing, but they are really popular, and it's a great way to extend the life of your leader. So when you put one of these, I generally, like Braden was saying, that he starts with a 9-foot leader, cuts it back 20 inches or so, puts his Tippet ring on, and has no problem extending the life of a leader through the season. And so you just add Tippet. And if you do that, I would just encourage you at least once, you know, every other time you go fishing or whatever, tie a new knot on your Tippet ring. And just, so you're not going to use that much Tippet, and you'll still get the length, you know, the life of the leader. But it truly does extend your life. And for those of you that are not real comfortable tying a blood knot or a surgeon's knot when you're reattaching this stuff, it does make it a lot easier. So there's several sizes. Most common, you know, the 2 and the 3 millimeter are the most common that's the ones we sell most often. We sell other ones, but this generally on the trout world, we go into the 2 millimeter size. And they're even designated like Rio does theirs. They're 3 millimeters. They're steelhead size. You know, so it's just the size of it's bigger so that you can get the heavier tippet through it. And I'm going to show you how to do it here. Just a couple of simple things. But again, first and foremost, it's how you're going to store these things. Now, Braden uses these a lot, and he's the other guy on the other side of the camera here. Braden uses these a lot, and he leaves them in the bag. And I'm going to show you a trick. Same thing we do with our hackle. We talked about this before, but here's the bag, right? And for those of you who have influence with Rio, if you're using Rios, you can call them and tell them your packaging sucks. Take this and just trim the edges, right? Trying to get this thing out of here it's a game. It's really difficult because they're built to be exactly the size of the bag. So simply trim the edge, round it. We did this about hackle, how you round that off, in and out, and you can keep it on this thing, and it's real easy to get back and forth in there. So that's the first trick about that, and you can see I cut about a 1/4 inch off of each side and just rounded the top. More importantly, part of the reason I think that I quit using Tippet rings, the absolute first time that I tried to do this, and these were European rings, and they came on a really nice, long kind of safety pin looking thing. These are going to come on this swivel, snap swivel, which is fine. I mean, it's a good way to do it, but it's kind of small. When I did it, I put a piece of amnesia. I made a big loop, and Braden said he never takes them off and just leaves them in that thing. It's a good idea. I didn't do it that way, but the reason I didn't do it or didn't catch on right in the beginning is I went out to the river. And I went to do this, and I undid it, and I dropped every single one of them. So we're going to show you how to stop that, because it's probably the most important thing about using these things. So I've got some 10-pound tippet, way too big for a trout size. Obviously, you wouldn't be running this size, but it's red so you can see it. And so when you do this, the first thing you have to do is establish the side so you can see to get the snap swivel up. I apologize for my hands being all beat to snot. That's because I actually work for a living, unlike Johnny. And so I have a lot of cuts. We're building the new store out right now, and so a lot of hand smashes. So anyway, back into this. As you see, the first thing you have to do is you have to establish just get one ring on the side that you're going to open. And this way you leave it right on the package, and then just slide it over the edge. And one thing you want to make sure you do is put on your regular glasses that you can see with. All right, I'm trying to fight this. I don't have my glasses on, but I did it without them. So I want you to see that the first thing you do is you get it on the edge, and so I'm around just the ring. And now it doesn't matter what happens now. I can drop this, and it's not going anywhere. I'm not going to lose all my rings. And then we're just going to throw the knot in. And the nice thing about it, if you leave it on the snap swivel, you can do everything right here. You can tighten it down, and you can trim it off if you want to trim it before you do any of this stuff. You've got lots of real easy access to get in here, right? And now you pop the snap ring, leaving it down so all those are on the bottom, and you just pull your snap ring off, close it, theoretically, you may not use another one of these things for a month or two, right? So you've got them there, back in the bag, back in your pack or your vest or whatever you're doing, and you've got your snap on. You can see it's a tiny little thing, and it's real easy to get a hold of this. And if you're gonna, when you're gonna add on your tippet, so now you've got, when I use them, I start with a 7.5 footer, just like I did with my leaders. I talked about that last week. When I do that, I put this on, and my tippet extends it, right? So now I'm gonna go out my other 2 feet, whatever it is. Don't worry about these sinking your leader. There's not, maybe if you were on a lake and you had a 20-minute sit on it, but if you're gonna just cast it and float a dry fly, they don't sink your leader, they'll stay on top. And it's real, like I said, it's more about just saving, not going through leaders quite so quick, and people find it to be a real convenience to be tying to this as opposed to have to do a blood knot or a surgery. Hope you like it, hope it helps you out.